Hey everybody, welcome to my cool YouTube channel. A lot of people have been asking me, they've been saying, hey Mr. whoever you are behind the screen, what's your take on the upcoming eclipse? And well, it's something I'm very fascinated by because I love science for starters. So as a lover of science, I love all things related to science. So obviously I'm gonna love an eclipse. Now, I'm gonna go into more detail about this hopefully in a few weeks when we get closer to the eclipse, so that we can all discuss these in more detail. But as a lover of the eclipse, as a lover of science, and as somebody who even sees the eclipse as possibly something really good, because I'm actually of the theory we should black out the sun. I don't know if you are or not, but I've read a lot of theories out there about how good it could be for the climate. And as you all know, I'm a big advocate of the climate initiative. So blocking out the sun, I think, from what everything that science tells us, will be beneficial to us. So I wish we had a permanent like eclipse so that we didn't even have sunlight anymore because, you know, I don't need to think about food or any of that stuff because I trust science will make me food in petri dishes. So anyway, back to the eclipse. I'm just so excited for it. I have so much planned. I have friends who are, they dress up in gowns and they pretend to be witches and they do all sorts of things in circles during these types of events. But me personally, I like to just put on my 3D glasses like the guys from Back to the Future and stare at it. But I'm really upset because I was on my favorite website, Newsweek, because that's where I go for my news. So there was an article out there and it said solar eclipse is now sparking wild conspiracy theories. And that really bothers me because conspiracy theories are out of control. Like anybody out there that's just coming up with these things or questioning things, what's your problem? If you're questioning the actual eclipse, what's wrong with you? How dare you actually question it? And how dare you question anything that we're told? What is your problem is the first thing I say. Secondly, I've had enough of these wild theories that are just, hurt. Like I told you about in my Titanic video. I love Leo DiCaprio. I love the Titanic boat movie. And that's the real history of the actual Titanic sinking is what James Cameron told us because they tell us the truth all the time. So I don't know why anyone out there thinks there's any type of conspiracy with the solar eclipse. But this article from Newsweek, I want to read to you, okay? Because this is how crazy these people are. Okay, so social media has become awash with these ridiculous theories over the upcoming total solar eclipse that will affect millions of Americans next month. A total eclipse will be experienced in 13 states on April the 8th. Then I heard that some people out there are saying it's going to be 3 minutes and 22 seconds, okay? So I'm like, oh, wow, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Cool, okay? What does that mean? And according to these bozos, they think that there's some type of secret group at Yale University that uses the number 322, like as if any of us should really care, okay? Just because, the climate leader, John Kerry, and President Bush and Senior Bush and all the Bushes went through that, stop it. Okay, just because Ron DeSantis went to Yale, stop it. Okay, I don't want to hear about the number 322 in any correlation. Okay, so I just debunked that theory. Okay, fact check, debunked. It's stupid. That's my fact check. 322, that theory, stupid. I fact checked it, debunked. Let's move on. Okay, a rare astronomical event in which the skies briefly turn dark during daylight hours. Such events take place when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, completely blocking the face of the sun. But despite the perfectly reasonable scientific explanation for why the eclipse is happening, it hasn't stopped conspiracy nut jobs from drumming up wild theories about the forthcoming astronomical event, okay? Known conspiracy theorist Mr. Jones, for the algo, we'll just call him Mr. Jones, posted a nearly 8-minute long video on X, formerly Twitter. I also love that how in every article now they have to tell us. They say on X, formerly Twitter. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so anyway, this guy, Mr. Jones, posted an 8-minute video, get this, in which he claimed that the eclipse is a sign from God and that the Department of Homeland Security is preparing to hijack the so-called biblical event. It gives no reason for why Homeland Security would do that. And I agree. Why would Homeland Security do that? Okay, why would these people ever want total control, total wealth, total control of That's stupid to think. I watch movies and TV shows like Rome all the time. And I've never seen any wickedness in any people who are in power. I see nice people who we vote in who serve us well. That's why the current regime is doing so much to help Ukraine. Thankfully, they're there and they're giving all our tax money to Ukraine to help arm them because the civilians are getting attacked over there. And it's good that our tax money is arming them. But of course, at the same time, I think that we should take away all the civilians, those things that go bang, bang that civilians in this country have. But anyway, okay, I got to be careful. I shouldn't use trigger words like that. But so they're preparing to hijack this so-called biblical event. And again, Newsweek is just very adamant to say it's a so-called biblical event. It gives no reason for why they would do that. But according to the clip from Mr. Jones, which was also posted on his widely discredited website, InfoWars, the eclipse will pass over 8 U.S. cities named Nineveh. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. However, only 2 of the 8 places named Nineveh in the U.S., namely Nineveh, Indiana, and Nineveh, Ohio, will experience the total solar eclipse on April 8th. InfoWars also claim the upcoming eclipse has similarities to the Bur-Sigil eclipse or Assyrian eclipse during the time when Jonah approached Nineveh and urged the Assyrian people to repent. It doesn't offer any further explanation about the connection. Yeah. Like, where's the science part of it? I'm looking for the science. I don't even know how to pronounce any of these names. I don't even know how to pronounce the word eclipse. I barely can pronounce my own name because I've changed it so many times. Because I'm one of those people that always changes my name because I always change what I identify as, which is normal. So I'm just gonna pronounce things the way I feel like it because that's who I am. Okay. So Newsweek, or as I call them now, Newswach, connected InfoWarts for comment via email. The X users have also speculated without evidence regarding alternative meetings for the solar eclipse. One user posting under the name Alex1575 wrote, quote, "In my opinion, I think April eclipse is the catalyst, yes, for a huge earthquake at the New Madrid fault line or intersection of the 3 eclipses. The conspiracy relates to a series of earthquakes in the Mississippi Valley along the New Madrid fault line, also known as New Madrid seismic zone, that occurred several months after a solar eclipse that crossed America in 1811. There's no scientific evidence to suggest the eclipse caused the earthquakes. Other theories that engage in wholesale rejection of science have also gained traction online." I'm getting angry now. Wholesale rejection of science. How dare they? Science told us all the things to do. Science saved our lives a couple years ago. Does anyone remember? Do you remember? Darn it. If it wasn't for science a few years ago, we'd all be dead right now. If it wasn't for science and the things that the scientists told us about maths and everything else, we'd all wouldn't be here. So the fact that people are questioning science is insanity. Did you question science when you were in school? No. Why are you questioning it now? What do you think? You see some crazy agenda behind this stuff? That's bullcrap. Okay, man? Okay? Everything that just happened in this world in 2020, that proves us how important science is because so many lives were killed. And so many lives weren't killed because of the science that they gave us in 2020. Weren't killed. I'll go. Okay? So anyway, wholesale rejection of science has gained traction online. Another user posting under the name of Sarah. The blue line in the path of totality, which happens to be the same as the line of storms that just came through the Midwest, ? The post appears to refer to the recent storms and tornadoes that struck Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky over the weekend. While it is known that eclipses can sometimes result in temporary and minor changes in the wind and temperature, these only occur during the event and aren't related to weather events in the months before a solar eclipse. And if you're one of those nuts that think that something goes on with the weather and they could make tornadoes, you're stupid too, okay? Stupid. I think we need to get to a point where we start censoring any thought that isn't the thought of the thoughts that we're told to have. Okay, does that make sense? So if anybody disagrees with anything that comes out of that magical box or comes out of any credible source, okay, and by that I mean Newsweek, NBC, CBS, I think they should be put in jail. I think they should be arrested. I mean, this is a problem. This is dangerous. Don't you see how dangerous this is? If people see the eclipse and they don't admire the eclipse and they don't look at the eclipse and drool and go, ooh, ah, and they actually look at the eclipse and they think that something bad's going to happen, that's dangerous. Okay, that's a dangerous thing. That could be really dangerous to me, to everybody around us, because they're not having fun. Okay, this is coming on April 8th, and if you're not having fun and you're thinking something bad's going to happen, that's not fun for anybody, and that's dangerous because now you're threatening to kill a good time. So we need to have more laws and rules in place. I hope that everyone out there agrees. I mean, I have to assume you do, right? Right? I mean, we got idiots talking about the weather. We got idiots out there who are using numbers like 322. What does that even mean? Okay. This is what I call, all right, this is science. The eclipse is science. And like I said, science saved your life. If you're listening to this right now, because of science, you're alive right now. Because you didn't listen to the science. I mean, because you listened to the science. Haven't you noticed that all the people who lost their lives over the last couple of years lost their lives because they didn't listen to science? Okay? Duh. So, look, we're probably saying, what does this have to do with the eclipse? Well, I have no idea. I'm just, what I did was I was Googling because I want to have an eclipse party at my house. Okay, I'm going to have an eclipse party. I got a Druid cloak. I got a Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm dyeing my hair blue. So these are all things I'm planning for April 8th. I don't have kids. I don't have, this is my life. I'm going to dye my pet's hair, actually blue too. But I was excited. I'm like, what are people doing? What's going on in my neighborhood? We have an eclipse party? And boom, I got all these stupid theories of people who think that they're allowed to think. And I think it's stupid that people are allowed to think. In fact, I think they need to shut up and they need to listen to Newsweek and listen to Bill Nye and listen to these people and stop listening to fake news like Mr. Jones and talking about Homeland Security hijacking an event, okay? Because that just sounds like COINTEL. I mean, that just sounds like conspiracy mumbo jumbo, okay? So I'm going to do more videos on this after, of course, I join the YouTube Partner Program, because then when my channel gets promoted, we can really break these things down and new people will be looking for this and they'll probably want to know what's going on and what maybe what I think, what I think about all this stuff. So stay tuned for a deep dive into all of that. And possibly on my cool website, which I can't mention here too, okay? So earthquakes, we got crazy lunatics out there. And again, at the end of the day, these people reject science. So what we need to do is we need to probably eventually get these people castrated because that'll be in their best interest in the future. Now, what am I saying? I don't know at this point. Really? I just don't. I just know that we need minutes. And hopefully we got some here, okay? Eclipse, everybody. Let me know if you're having an eclipse party. We got to get this channel more interactive. So please comment. Tell me, are you having an eclipse party? What are you wearing? Do any of you have a date for the party? Would you like to come to my place and bring a special dish? If so, what would you like to make? Will you be showering on that day? Do you use deodorant? If you're a female, do you have armpit hair? These are all things that I'm wondering because these are all things that I'm into. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe. Bye-bye.